How's it going? I just want to do a quick video response to AZdadonfire's post about his new chainsaw mill that he got. Holes, I forget the name of it. I guess it's a copy of the Grandberg what I have here. So in my comment that I left on your video, that extra piece of tubing that goes here and that bolts to this flat bar there. And what that does is that when you set your mill on the on your ladder on the slab, then you can get the level correct this way. Okay, so it sits on the log level before the blade enters the log. So that's what that extra piece does. It also looked like you had it set up right with the with this round tubing behind the handle. It looks like you had that set up right. Also, another thing is, I don't know if your mill has them, but the graduation marks or the measuring marks, make sure that those are on this cast pieces side. That way, when you set it up, you're a lot closer to the actual thickness of slab that you're going to cut. These aren't dead on. On this mill, they're within a 32nd of an inch, so I mean that's good enough for me. But make sure this vertical bar here, make sure those marks are on the side of this cast piece and not over here on the clamp. Because if they're here on the clamp, then your measurement's going to be ½ inch off. Oh, another thing is these pieces here with the ramps. These go on the power head side, because what happens is, pretend my table here is the slab, and then you enter the cut. What's going to happen is the chain is rotating this way. Sorry guys, I'm videoing on my phone. I'm looking at the screen and looking at the bar at the same time. This is hard. The chain is going this way, right? And you're pushing the mill that way. So what happens is the saw will pull the mill that way into the slab. Okay. So that's what these ramps do. These ramps allow it to glide over the bark a lot easier. No ramps on this side because the tip of the bar is going to be thrusted out that way. So if you're hitting a piece of wood on this side, then you're at the maximum, and the ramp isn't going to help that. So yeah, and then also I was just wondering why you went with a hard nose bar and not a sprocket nose bar like that. So that was another question. Oh, another thing. When you first clamp your bar into the mill, if you have something nice and flat that you can set it on, luckily I have my table here. Set your bar on it with no power head and everything, and then go ahead and clamp your mill down to the bar, and then you will know for sure that your bar isn't going to be bowed, okay, when you put it in there. So say if you had the power head hanging on there, then you set it on the ground or on top of another table or something like that, there's a chance that your bar can be bowed either this way or that way when you clamp it down, when you clamp the mill onto the bar. You would think that these little pads here would straighten the bar out, but they don't, because I've had my bar clamped in there before when I was getting it all set up, and then I noticed when I started looking at everything, my bar was bowed one way or the other. So take the power head off, or leave it off, set your bar on a nice flat surface, and then clamp your mill to it. Then clamp your mill to it, and then put your power head on. Oh, I should say that when you clamp your mill to the bar, make sure you have your chain on the bar. Otherwise you won't be able to get it on, obviously. So yeah, clamp the mill to the bar first with your chain on it, and then attach the power head after. So yeah, what I wanted to be a 2-minute video turned into a 4-minute and 35-second video. So anyways, you guys have a good one. Oh yeah, look at this nice little rack I made. It holds all my files. 7/32, 13/64, 3/16, 5/32. Got a couple gauges. These steel depth gauges, I only use them to clean out the bar grooves. That's all I use this thing for. That's probably about all I think they're good for. Got my Oregon depth gauge here. Hey, Good Day Farm, Travis. I'm going to be sending you a hand square filed chain here pretty soon. So look forward to that. I think I'm actually getting pretty good at it by hand. I haven't even gotten the parts in to do it with my Grandberg filing joint yet. So, yeah, and then I got just a raker gauge file right there. I actually like this a lot. And then whatever file I'm using, I can pull it out. So I'm following along, and then say I want to set the file down or something like that, I set it in there. So, I mean, I think it's easier because my bench is always cluttered and everything. So all I did was just drill a hole, and then I chamfered it around the edge there. So I just set it in there, and then I could find whatever file that I'm using a lot easier. Okay, and then when I'm not filing with it, then I just stick it back in the box. I think that works pretty slick. So, yes, sir. Just made it out of some 1x6 I got at Ace and screwed it together. So I'm no woodworker, but anyways. All right, thank you guys. Have a good one.